5, 16, 19, 21, 30, 3 and 10. Check results. You remember?
What are we on now? 64? You know, don't pretend like you don't know. I know you know. Oh, I'm holding the mic down there. Yeah, man. How are you guys? It's pod a day. 64 days now. Wait, is it actually 64? It is. 64, 64, 64 Zoolane. Dun dun. Who remembers that? Again, I don't think it's that well known of a show. I think the show was, appropriately called 64 Zoolane. Yeah, it was just about this girl, kid in a yard. I think she had like animals. She had like a zoo going on. It was weird. Maybe it was all going on in her brain. You know, sometimes you see like people talk about kid shows and they have like those theories like, number 4. Apparently, Phineas and Ferb were not actually building things in their backyard. They just had intense schizophrenia. It was all a part of their imagination. That is why when Candace always called their mom to see what they had built, it had already mysteriously disappeared, sometimes in ways that were not imaginable. This is heavily suggests that it was all just schizophrenia. Ferb even says in episode 14 of season 4 that Phineas is seeing things. Could this be more clues to the schizophrenia? You know, people just do those wild theories, and it's like, it's just a bit of fun. Like, that's not really happening, is it? But yeah, you could argue that about the 64 Zoolane girl. She had like a whole giraffe, zoo, elephant thing going on in her like, not even semi-detached house. Actually, it might have been semi-detached. I don't really remember it that well, let's be honest. What's bugging out like that? Yeah, shut that bitch. That wasn't me. That wasn't like my dog. I just hit there or a human being. That was me closing a laptop just to stop any of those. Yeah. Anyway, not got much to speak about. I just literally dried my whole throat out talking about Formula 1 because that's back now and I got the hards on POD. That's the name of my F1 pod. And now I'm so original, I'm so fresh. No one's ever done that before. But technically I did start towards the end of last season. I'm about 4 races to go. I know, great plan there. And then I was just like, I don't really want to talk 6 months and just fill it in a bunch of nonsense about Formula 1 when I don't even know the sport that well. I'm just here for the drama, the drivers and the inner workings in between them and all that fun stuff. Whereas football, whether there's games or not, you can find stuff to talk about because I've been a football fan for a long time. I got into Formula 1 through Drive to Survive. Oh, it's like clockwork, man. Like clockwork, this dog. This time, actually, no, I'll bring the thing with me. It's like she waits, she listens, and she pulls pranks on me. With my foot. There we go. Get in. Come on. Which I wouldn't be surprised, man. I mean, dogs clearly can understand you. I say sit, that dog will be sitting. You know what I mean? I say paw. She gave me the paw. Although I do kind of understand when I say paw. She's probably just trying to scratch me, and I just sort of assign a dog doing a dog, like a dog movement to like a human movement. Like it's not actually giving me a high five. A dog doesn't know what a high five is. It's a dog, but it looks like a high five. So we're just like, oh, my dog does high fives. You know. But yeah, obviously, like you got border collie sheepdogs. They're out here herding sheep. I can't do that. They're out here doing full-time work. That's better than better than I can say for myself. So, they clearly understand something. I wouldn't understand if she's grasped onto what pranks are now because she seems to wait outside that door. And the second I start going, scratch, because she could have walked up here at any other point. You know what I mean? She chose now. She chose violence, man. But yeah, I mean, I guess I could talk Formula 1. I mean, I want to Drive to Survive. I haven't seen that yet. And I was going to talk about that massively. Talk about football and shite. Not football, F1 and shite before doing this. But then I was just sort of like, I was like, no, I can't talk about the same thing. But then I realised there is no, like, at least consistent viewers of this. There's no one who wants to listen to every single one. If there was, you're mentally insane. I don't think there's like on average 5 people to each one of these, and I doubt there is like a consistent overlap. Even if there was people who listen to every single one of these, they're not listening also to something else that I haven't done an episode for in 6 months. There's no overlap there. I don't think there's anything to worry about. So yeah, I can still talk F1 and stuff when that gets into it. When we get more into the races, maybe, because I wanted to originally watch Drive to Survive and then talk about that on the Hards On, but internet issues as always, and just too much buffering, too much lagging, because I wanted to kind of watch it as I talk about it, but it wasn't to be, man. So I've actually spoken a lot longer. I've spoken for about an hour so far, which is weird. And I know what you're thinking. I usually have about 20 minutes, but there I was going on for about half an hour until I realized that idea wasn't going to work, and I just had to start again and then do another 20 minutes on top, basically saying everything I'd already said, but this time in an actual listenable manner. So I've been going for like an hour so far. I know that's 50 minutes, but 55 if you want to count the 5 from here. Anything happened in the world, man? I don't know. Not that I've really been seeing on the Twitter, on the interweb. Chelsea. If we want to talk football, that we haven't. We're at a stage now where basically we're like a real mid-table, bottom of the league club in terms of what we've got ourselves into. United technically can still live under the illusion that they could win the quadruple this season. They're still in, well, not a real quadruple because they're in the Europa League, but they could win a quadruple, which there hasn't been none, because they're in the Europa, they're in the Prem. You can't not be in unless you get, but they're in the Prem, Europa, FA Cup, and League Cup still, and they could still win all that shit. They probably won't, but they still could. Like, realistically, man, United could easily finish second this season with their trajectory and how City just keep not taking opportunities to go top. They could finish second. They could easily win the Carabao Cup. I mean, they're literally in the final with it against Newcastle. They're not going to win a trophy in 6-7 years. Still a good chance Newcastle could win it, but there's a good chance United do. So they could win that. They could easily win the Europa. The next hardest team in that competition is Arsenal. But aside from that, I mean, you got Roma, you got Sociedad. You could be winning that. I know they didn't beat Sociedad last time, but they're a better team this time. You could easily win that, and then FA Cup. I don't know how much more of the FA Cup we got to go. My more issue is what I'm saying is we're out of everything. We got knocked. Yeah, it was a bit of bad luck. Like, we drew City in both FA Cup and League Cup. Like, that's just like painful, man. Like, why you gotta do something like that? We got City, like, we played them like 3 times in a space of like a week, and we lost every time. Don't even think we scored in any of them. And it's just, I like cup competitions. It's fun. You get to rotate the sides. You see different players. It feels like there's a real chance at silverware. Like, up until this season, we got to an FA Cup final 3 seasons in a row, man. That's fun. Don't tell people about the fact that we lost all 3 of them. All 3 finals. That's so mental, man. All 3 finals, but still we got to them. I think it was, the first one was with Lampard. We were 1-0 up with Pulisic, and then we got absolutely shafted. I mean, Azpilicueta got injured, and it led to a goal, I think, and he had to go off, and then we got a red card that wasn't a red card, and Anthony Taylor was a joke. Continuing that hatred we have for him. We then had the Leicester one, I believe, where Tielemans just bangs that one in from outside the box. And I think we get back into it with Ben Chilwell and then VAR. I hate you. And then, but it felt good though, because we got to knock them out of getting a Champions League space, kind of, which felt good. And we got a bit of fights going on at Stamford Bridge, and because Marty, their player, was he stamped all over our sort of badge at Wembley when they beat us in the final, and then we got to deny them a Champions League spot at Stamford Bridge, and I think Werner scored that game. But yeah, that was Tielemans. And then we got to an FA Cup final again for the 3rd season in a row, and the Carabao Cup final that season, and we lost both those finals at Wembley. So many L's at Wembley, man. Sucks getting to, but still, it's great progression. Not progression, it's just great. It's just great to be in that many finals, even. But just to lose them all still hurts. And we lost those 2 on penalties to both Liverpool. Just, when it doesn't go your way, it don't go your way. But yeah, we could just do a whole sports thing today, I guess. It could be a very sporty fun time. Can I crack my back real quick? I can't. The answer is no. I tried to and it didn't work. Graham Potter, man. Graham Potter's getting, someone said something recently, and it was so true, and I can't remember what context it was even in or who it was even about, but it was so true. And the essence was, like, pretty tax. Oh, that was it. It was a TikTok I saw. And So let's get into this whole thing right now. This is a whole long-winded way to talk about something football related that I want to get to. Don't do that, dog. Don't do that now. Don't ask to leave. And it's just why? It's like she hates when I'm just in here talking to myself. She thinks I'm a mental person. Because if I was just in here not giving her attention, that's fine. But it's the fact that when I sit in here and I just talk to myself, she gets weirded out by it. She's like, I gotta get out of here. But I remember Ice Spice got her first top 10 Billboard, whatever it is, with... I'm watching you. With, what's her name? I can sing in the song in my head right now, but I don't. Pink Panthers, right? And then someone... So that tweet went out, and then someone, like, quote retweeted it saying, wow, pretty tax is really a thing. Something like that. I felt like that's not how they worded it, because it just sounded different. But that's basically saying pre-tax is a thing. Like, wow, you can really go places just being attractive and having zero talent, right? I actually think the song's decent. I like Ice Spice. There, I said it. But this isn't about that. That was that main point. And then the same day, I saw another thing about pre-tax, right? And I was talking about it on TikTok, and this guy, funny how, like a clown. Yeah, I've not seen that film, but I know that quote, obviously. And he was like saying, yo, pre-tax really is like a real thing, man. Like, think about squirrels, think about rats, man. Like, think about how people treat rats. They treat rats like vermin. You see them in your house, you get like a rat trap. You want to see those critters snapped in half. You want to see them dead. Disgusting vermin. Like, you call people a rat as like an insult. And then, like, you see a squirrel and everyone's nice to them. They give them acorns, man. You give them nuts out in public. They're running up in trees as mystical little creatures. And he was like, a squirrel's just a leng rat, man. A squirrel's just a rat with a BBL. A squirrel, is just a rat with some bunda. Just a rat who can throw it back. Just a rat with a bit of makeup on. Just a rat with good genetics. Just a rat that looks after himself. Just a rat with clear skin. Just a rat with a good night's sleep. Just sort of a rat with just basically a rat with a fat ass and a cuter one at that. And squirrels are just rats, and you can say that about a lot of things. Hamsters and shit. If hamsters just a rat, with a more rotund body, and you can say a gerbil. They're all rodents, man. It's like rats get treated like shit basically because they're a bit more ugly, and they're like sent to go live down in the sewers and with the shit. And squirrels essentially run free, just across the pathways, up in the trees, just doing whatever they're doing, man. And they just do their thing, and we like coexist. We're like, you're cute, you get to live among us. You're ugly, die, vermin. And this is more or less, I'm just basically paraphrasing what he said. He said it in a much funnier way. Funny guy, as I said, like a clown. I amuse you. Anyway, funny how. And yeah, it's true. Why am I talking about? Oh, right. And this really does exist with you, right? Throughout your entire life, you can be in school, all right, and it happens. And whether it's right or wrong, I get it. It makes sense. Everyone's kids. Like, when you're at school, being quick matters. If you're quick, that's clout. Quickness is everything. Quickness is currency, man. Quickness will take you to the fucking moon. If you're quick, you're fucking royalty in school. If you're slow, deal with it. Like, there's no upgrading yourself on a hierarchy. They make it like it's some big deal thing. You wear these clothes, this and you walk like this. We wear pink on Thursdays, whatever, Wednesdays. But like, realistically, in England, London, especially, I can't speak for everywhere. It's all bullshit. Be quick, and if you're fast, fuck it, man. You can have anything else going on up here, but if you're quick, it's all you need. And they'll take you far. They'll take you places, and but that's the kind of trivial nonsense that makes you cool and stuff. And obviously, as you get older and you go to secondary school, yes, things like being good at sports, that still matters. But like, just being attractive, you could be some loner loser sort of creep. But if you're attractive, people are just kind of like, oh yeah, well, he's kind of cute. That, oh well, she's kind of, yeah, but the back be backing, right? But again, you're still like 14, 15. Like, you think of yourself as like a young adult when you're at secondary school. But like, and in my head, I was still like, older than I was when I think back to it. But then I realized, I'm like, bro, you were like 13 for most of the time at secondary school. You're like 14, literally still like so young. So again, all this trivial stuff still makes sense. But like, you think you go into the real world and that stuff doesn't still matter? Like, you go to your job and that stuff still doesn't really matter. Like, it doesn't matter if you're attractive at this point. It's not going to stop you getting jobs. It's not going to stop you doing this and that. But then, and this is the big circle back, all of that just to get to this. Graham Potter, the fact you look like a nerd-ass looking PE teacher is affecting your credibility in football management. The fact Graham Potter wears a little trench coat, or, you know, just a little, looks, you know, gets his hair cut by his mum maybe, sort of skinny white guy, last name Potter, you know, no respect, no credibility, you know. He gets pat on the head, like when he does bad. The way he gets treated, Graham Potter, I know he's in bad form, but outside of the bad form, like all the weird questions they ask him, like, oh, Graham, are you actually capable of emotions? Do you actually ever feel angry, Graham? Oh, Graham. And it's like, the fan base, the way they talk about him online, it's like, oh, look at like Tuchel's posture. That's the posture of a winner. Now look at literally like beta male sigma alpha shit. Like, ooh, Graham hunched over, you know, bags under the eyes, mum haircut, Tuchel upright, means business, this and that. It's just like, I can't imagine. I know a lot of things have changed in the game and stuff. You know, you hear like old farts talk about it all the time. Like, back in my day, tackles used to be like this. It used to be like that. You could get away with this. You know, it's a fucking pussies. But more they're famous, but fire. You know, all that type of shit, right? But one thing I would say is, you wouldn't get Leng tax. You wouldn't get attractive, pretty tax back in the day. Like, I don't think they really cared if their manager was ugly or attractive or whatever it was, if their posture was cool or not. They just kind of cared, like, is he a good manager? Is he good at football? Whereas now, bro, people won't admit, I'm fucking telling you, if you're, as a player as well, if you're like ugly and you're not doing well, the fan base is harsher on you. They don't outwardly say it, but they basically imply it with some of the weird like takes they come out with, like comparing different players and stuff and that. But it's like, genuinely, if you got drip, if they think you're attractive, and it's not like I can't describe it. I just see it on Twitter all the time, and I just think, you're literally saying this because you because you think they're Leng. And it's not like, oh, I mean, it's not like what am I trying to say? Like, it's not like an attraction thing. It's not like, oh, I'm saying there's a bunch of women or gay people on Twitter who base their opinions off they find someone attractive. What I'm saying is that it's just people rate people who they don't. Ugly people just get no fucking love in this world, man. That's all I wanted to say. Where is the love, as the Black Eyed Peas would say? If you're attractive, then when you're up or down, you'll get the fair criticism you deserve or praise. When you're ugly, you gotta work so hard for that shit, man. You gotta overcome your ugliness first before you can get anything. It ain't right. It ain't right. Graham Potter. If Graham Potter had a skin fade, if Graham Potter had a skin fade, a 6-pack, and fucking white ass gnashes on him, sort of veneer type shit, I was like 37. It's like, yeah, he's doing bad right now, but people would be like, oh fuck, let's see where this goes though, because that's the kind of man you want leading you out in Champions League final. Whereas it's part, you know what I said, how they didn't have it back in the day. It's even part of Mourinho's success, kind of. When you have like the sort of swagger about you as well, it just adds a lot. It makes people more fond of you. It's the reason why like Ronaldo is more popular than Messi. Ronaldo just always kind of had that attraction people liked. He was just cooler. That's the main reason people just kind of boil it down to. It carries weight. Same with Neymar, man. Like, people find him attractive. It carries weight. In the future, regardless, like, it's going to be a similar thing with we'll see with Mbappe and Haaland. But yeah, I'm just trying to think of any more examples. Like, I'm telling you right now, if Harry Kane didn't have a lisp, people would be rating him more. Sometimes you see some disrespect for Harry Kane. Don't try and give him his plaudits. The guy's world class. Let's just come out and say it right now. Okay, he might not do a bunch of step overs and he might not be pulling out rainbow flicks, but the guy's a world class striker. I'm telling you right now, if that guy didn't have a lisp, he would be called that outright, and people do call him that, but not outright. All right, because it's like he's kind of a loser. He's kind of lame. Like he looks kind of chubby. Even if he's ripped, he will look kind of chubby. It's just kind of he's built that way. You know, he can't escape it. Sort of a receding hairline a little bit. That's fine. He's like in his 30s or close to it. I think it's actually late 20s. But even that's the point, right? It ain't right. I'm here for you, Caney boy. And your lisp. It's not really a lisp. It's almost a speech impediment. Anyway, that's all. That's all I got for you. 64 Zulane. See you in 65.
Here with the kids, and they had like 3 kids, and the geezer was probably on like maximum 20 bags a year. Like the most boring bloke you'll ever meet, like a Euros.